Hey everyone, it's Nick. Today I am going to do a ranking video on the Jason Voorhees characters from the Friday the 13th franchise. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to rank each Jason from each movie. So Kane Hodder has obviously played Jason numerous times. You're going to see him on this list numerous times for each different version that he has of the character. So just for simplicity's sake, I did not include Part 5, who was Roy, and Part 1, the Jason that jumps out at the end. Ari Lemon, I think, played him. I didn't include them just because they're not really. Well, Roy is not Jason, and Ari, little Jason kid, doesn't play Jason as a killer. So that being said, there are 10 different movies versions of Jason that I'm going to rank here, and we're going to kick it right off at number 10, and that is going to be the portrayal of Jason from Jason Goes to Hell, played by Kane Hodder. This movie is very complicated uh, and very hard to rank Jason. He's only probably in its screen time for, God, what, 3, 4 minutes? No, probably a little more than that. Maybe 5 minutes, though, tops, because it's kind of the body jumping Jason. So it's very hard to rank. One thing to note here, though, is that he looks cool. The mask is kind of blending into his face, but he looks kind of fat. And, I'm not a big fan of the getup that he's wearing. And you don't really see him kill too many people. He hugs, kind of bear hugs Creighton Duke, his character with the handcuffs, which is cool kill. Other than that, there's really not much to say. He's grunting, so I wasn't a big fan of that when he's fighting Steven in the Letterman's jacket. He's grunting. That's fucking weird. So I was not a big fan of this portrayal of Jason, even in the 5 minutes or so of screen time that he did have. So he comes in last place at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is going to be the Jason from Jason Takes Manhattan, Part 8. Another portrayal by Kane Hodder. This Jason is interesting. He's wet the whole time. Obviously that was done on purpose because, he was underwater for part of the movie. Obviously it's on a cruise ship. Very little of it takes place in Manhattan, which is a whole other issue. But as far as Jason goes, not another performance and portrayal of his character that I'm just not a huge fan of. And that mostly has to do with the teleportation. They don't actually show him teleport, but there's no other logical explanation. A character's running, he's behind him, and then 2 seconds later he's in front of him. So not a big fan of that. It's very unrealistic, which is saying something for these fucking movies. But I'm not a fan of this portrayal. So that's why it comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8 is going to be Ken Kirzinger, who played him in Freddy vs. Jason. So, obviously, my worst two Jasons were both played by Kane Hodder. And Ken Kirzinger played him after Kane Hodder. And there was a lot of controversy with that, which we won't get too much into here. But I was not a big fan of his portrayal at all. I think it works for the movie that he's in, this Freddy vs. Jason movie. They kind of wanted a lumbering, huge Jason, but just kind of stands there, pulls out his machete once in a while. His fights versus Freddy, yeah, they were cool to watch from like a fan's point of view, but the character of Jason didn't really add much to it. He's afraid of water. What? Didn't I just get done saying? And Jason Takes Manhattan, he spends half the movie in water. So that makes no sense. That's not really on Ken Kirzinger, and that's not on, his performance. It's on Ronnie Yu, the director. But still, the portrayal, the way Jason is portrayed in this, and the way his character is, keeps him towards the bottom of my list. Coming in next at number 7 is going to be Jason X, once again played by Kane Hodder. First of all, this movie's pretty fun. Jason has a good time in it. I'm not a fan of Jason, had little strands of hair coming out. I just thought it looked weird. Once again, saying something when it comes to this movie where the continuity is very much lacking. But, Jason's walking around a spaceship. Whoop-de-doo. Uber Jason, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention him and talk about him for a moment. The idea is sweet. The look of him is sweet. It fits the movie, obviously. It's Jason in fucking space. So that is all cool, but at the end of the day, it's not really the Jason that I love. So that's why it's towards the bottom of my list. Now, coming in at number 6, about halfway through, so just a little bit towards the bottom, is going to be Part 2, Sackhead Jason, played by Warrington Gillette. I know another guy played him for part of this movie, but for most of it, it was Warrington Gillette. Warrington Gillette gets the credit on IMDb, so we're going to go with him. This is kind of the birth of the Jason we know, a little bit. He's a skinny, backwoods, survivalist Jason. He uses kind of different tools to kill, which is cool, like backwoods hunting type, farming type tools, which is cool. He's got the sack, like I mentioned, which I actually like that look with one eye hole. I think that's fucking terrifying. I think it's more terrifying than a hockey mask, actually. But this Jason, it was kind of the feeling out process. They didn't really know what they had yet as far as Jason Voorhees goes. He's very easy and to kind of hurt. Very clumsy. He's standing on the chair and he falls once when he's trying to kill Ginny, which is weird. But overall, I like this portrayal. I like the fact that he was kind of childlike. Ginny's able to trick him and things like that. Had some very good kills in this movie too. Very good kills. Some of my favorite in the franchise. The standout, obviously, is Mark in the wheelchair. We won't get into the physics of that, how that kill happened. But the portrayal of Jason here and the little screen time that you actually see him is well done. And it kind of gave birth to what's to come. So it's a very important performance by Warrington Gillette and nice direction by Steve Miner. So about halfway through, we're going to go down to the top half, and at part number 5, it's going to be Jason from part 7, played by Kane Hodder. This is the last Kane Hodder on my list, which might seem weird to a lot of people because when most people have their people that play their favorite Jason, number 1, Kane Hodder, number 1, Kane Hodder, or at least in the top 2, maybe top 3. For me, I think his portrayals are overrated. I just really do. And it's nothing to take away from Kane Hodder. He does a great job for the horror community as a whole. He's proud of Jason. He has he has kill tattooed on his inner lip there. He loves and he embraces the character of Jason like nobody ever has. And that's fucking awesome. It's so cool. But when it comes down to his portrayals of Jason, it just is lacking for me. The breathing, which at first when I was younger, I thought that was cool. But the more I watch it, I'm not a big fan of it. The reason this movie is his highest on the list is just the look of him is great. He's got his spine hanging out. He's got all these damages that have happened to him. Literally every piece of damage he's ever had to him is there, which is cool. The attention to detail that they take with this Jason is just second to none. So that's why it gets on the top half of my list, even though I'm not a big fan of A, the movie in general, and B, Kane Hodder's performance and performances. So that's at number 5 on my list. Coming in at number 4 is going to be part 6, played by CJ Graham. So this is from Jason Lives. I do like this performance. Kind of the opposite of what I was just talking about with Kane Hodder, though I'm not a huge fan of the look, and that's mainly because of Jason's wearing gloves. And he's got a kind of utility belt. That's just fucking weird. I guess it kind of fits the movie. He took him from Tommy when Tommy was accidentally resurrecting him. But other than that, I really do like CJ Graham's performance. He's got kind of a different energy to him. He's speed walking in the daytime through the woods, trying to get back to Crystal Lake or Forest Green in this movie. But he does a nice job. The kills are great. Bending Sheriff. I can't think of the sheriff's name. Garris, bending him in half backwards is fucking awesome. Triple decapitation. Yeah, it's cool. Once again, not really realistic, but this is fucking Friday the 13th, so it's fun. Which is exactly how I describe this movie and exactly how I would describe CJ Graham's performance. So that makes him at number 4. All right, top 3. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Derek Mears' performance from the remake from Friday the 13th, 2009. the fact that Derek Mears was able to get in the top 3 shows how great he is as Jason. He did a fucking fantastic job. He basically combined all the great parts of the great Jasons, from the Warrington Gillette Jason, the backwoods, and then the other 2 that I'm going to talk about shortly here. He's menacing, he's hulking, he's believable, and he's just fucking vicious. The kills aren't the best in this movie, but the way Jason does them is just kind of vicious. And he's fast, he runs, he throws an axe in that guy's back. The traps he sets are just fucking awesome. And especially the first 15 minutes of this movie with the bear trap and the sleeping bag and the machete to the fucking skull are just badass. Like, I can't even tell you how badass that shit is. It's awesome. I could go on about this, but I'm just going to stop. So, Derek Mears, you're at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Ted White from Friday the 13th, the final chapter, part 4. Obviously, this wasn't the final chapter. Ted White is amazing as Jason. He just seems more evil. The kills in this movie are probably top to bottom the best quality we have ever had in maybe any slasher movie ever. Some of my favorites in this movie are it's just incredible. And Ted White, like I said, he just brings an evilness to the role. He takes everything that was done before him and just, steps it up a notch. As far as, the tension and evilness goes. Jason's pissed off in this movie. He's not taking any prisoners, and he is going to kill fucking everyone in a violent and vicious way, and that is fucking awesome. So Ted White, you are the man. You're at number 2, though. So coming in at number 1, Richard Brooker from Friday the 13th, Part 3. Say what you want about this movie, but Richard Brooker takes Jason and makes him become the Jason we know. The way he plays Jason is just unbelievable. And I'm going to point out a couple scenes here that show why. My favorite scene as Jason is right before my favorite kill. But my favorite scene as Jason is when he takes the harpoon gun, shoots Vera in the eye. Okay, that's the first time we ever see him in the hockey mask, mind you. She's like, "Who are you? Cut that out." Boom. Right through the eye. With amazing 3D effects. But we'll get into that some other time. But anyway, Brooker takes a harpoon gun, just kind of tosses it down, and just kind of turns and looks up at the house where the others are. And it's just a badass moment. That tells you that Jason is not only killing people, he's enjoying it. He just kind of tosses it down. It's like, yeah, who's fucking next? It's just unbelievable. Like, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. And that comes right before my favorite kill in the franchise, which is splitting Andy in half when he's walking on his hands. Just incredible. Just an incredible kill. And then the final chase sequence with Chris. Brooker is just amazing in this. I love after Chris gets to the barn, locks him out of the barn and is hiding, and he opens the barn door and he just starts tearing the barn apart looking for her. He's fucking furious. It just shows he just gave Jason such personality that is missing in a lot of the later sequels. You could make an argument that it's because he's a zombie in the later sequels, and I totally understand that. But Richard Brooker, he was a trapeze artist before this, and it really showed he kind of gave Jason like a grace to him, a menacing grace, which is fucking rare. You don't see that shit every day. So Brooker, you are fucking awesome. You're my favorite Jason. You're the best Jason. Nobody's gonna top you. Mears, a couple more movies if they ever get out of the hell they're in, and make another movie. Maybe he has a shot to move up. But Brooker, you're awesome. Rest in peace. So that is my list. Let me know what you think. I love hearing lists like this. So let me know what you think in the comments, or subscribe, do whatever. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks.